Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another exciting episode on this channel. And for this episode, we are at the Brazilian GP track, which is Autodromo Jos Carlos Pace. Sorry if I murdered that name, but Carlos Pace is the name of the track. And we are currently in Brazil. And this is the qualifying lap. So this is the first flying lap. Just to get that HUD out of the way. The UI actually. So this is one very, very tricky track. Tricky. It's a mixture of both technicality and just raw pace. You need to just have raw pace, and you need to be able to be technical with how you take the corners, because the way you take the corners just can kill your time. You know, just one corner can eat as much as 1 second. So you might think, okay, you've done well with that corner, but you look at the time and you see that you've dropped a second just by not rotating properly in a corner, or, you know, being too slow with your rotation. So yeah, the lap starts out with you hugging the wall as much as possible, because that's the fastest line through that corner. And then you brake at the 50-meter mark. Shift down. You need to go slightly wide to the left before you take the right turn there. Do that long chicane. Then heading down here, you need to brake at the 100-meter mark. And you can see that rotation in that corner was a bit poor. It wasn't as fast as I would have loved. And then here, you need to brake at the steward's post. Go out wide there. Take much more of that corner to carry more speed into the corner. And then here, you need to rotate out slightly away from the apex, and then come back like a double apex. Here, don't go too wide, because then you will lose time. Although yes, you can still go wide there if you're carrying enough speed. You can go wide and enter that corner with a little bit more speed. And then here, brake. You just have to figure out the point to brake there, the best braking point. But if you look closely, there's a kink in the edge of the track. You see a kink. That's like the point where you need to brake. So let's pause this and look at it from the driver's POV. Okay, so now we are looking at the driver's POV. And like I said, hug the wall to the left as much as possible. That's the quickest line through that corner. Here you want to brake just before the 50, or right on the 50 if you can manage it. And then go to the left here before you can take this right. Open up wide so that you can take that right with much more speed and not go off track. Allow the car to run wide here to the right. And then going in for the next corner, you want to brake right there where you see the mark between the grass there. It wasn't as good as I would have liked it, but you need to brake in between where you have the break in the grass. Here at the steward's posts, brake, shift down, carry the speed out wide here, brake, and then turning for this corner. Here you need to go out wide, slightly away from the apex so that you can bring it back into the apex, almost like a double apex. And then here you need to go slightly wide and then bring it into this corner, maximum rotation as quickly as possible. Then go out wide here because you need to carry as much speed through here without going over the track limits here, which I didn't really manage properly there. So I think this lap is actually slower than my first lap actually, because I see quite a bit of mistakes, quite a bit of errors. Over the last few corners, there were a couple of errors there. Yeah, it was slow. 1:33.17 is slow. My best time here was a 1:32 flat, or I think my optimal time was a 1:31.4. So, but my best time was actually a 1:31.7, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so anyway, that's the end of that one. Let's move on to the race. Okay, so we qualified in P. Let's just take a look at that. We qualified in 11th place. Don't worry about the results. Just we qualified in 11th place. And we had a bunch of Brazilians up in front of us. How many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Brazilians up ahead. This is their home track, so yeah. Anyway, we qualified in P11. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we get on with the race. Starting in P11. And there we have it. The flag is flying. The green lights are on. Brake for turn 1. Avoid the chaos. There can potentially be quite a lot of chaos like we just talked about. 2 cars already off. Just trying to manage the race as best as possible. 2 cars off, so already up to P9. There's a guy on our right-hand side trying to make a move, but obviously there's no space for him to make a move. It'd be crazy to make one. Just trying to stay alive through this first lap, to be honest, so that the cars can spread out and then it can be easier to manage. Ooh, that was a quick move on the inside there. Quick move on the inside. He makes it back. Yeah, I was surprised that I even made that move, to be honest. Full tires. No need to be a hero, to be honest. Just finish the lap, warm up the tires, and then you can start making moves. But yeah, started in P11 and we're currently already in P7. Yeah, P7. P7 at the moment. We've made up 4 places. Right at that point, we've identified that this Porsche ahead of us is slow in turn 1, because we had to apply a lot more brakes. Still searching for an angle, still searching for that gap. We need to just stay with them. We need to just stay with them because took a little too much club there. That front left bouncing is not what we needed in that corner because you don't have to wait to be able to apply the power, and that's time you're losing. You're losing time. It's a race against time, really, not a race against other drivers. It's a race against time. You want to save as much time as possible in whatever you're doing. 133 flat. Still not as quick as we can be, but at least we're staying with the leading pack. Maybe not the leading 1-2. We're still within touching distance of the five leading cars. One more. Yep. We got that right. That move was clear. Made a mistake, went wide, and lost the track position. Makes it back, makes a move on the inside. Now on the outside. Now he's going to be on the inside here. We're going to give him the space. No, he pulled back. Still trying. It's not an easy track to make an overtake, and that was very clear over the weekend. Obviously, except Max. But yeah, I think he took a new PU. Yeah, he took a new power unit now. Right from the pits because of that. So there was really no issue there. He was always going to be fast. Such a fast track, but it's also such a small track. You can easily go to sleep here, and because it can be boring. It can be boring when you are going through the corners and you can't battle the guys ahead. You're keeping the guys behind as well because it's so difficult to overtake, and it just becomes a boring race quite quickly. In P6 at this point, up 5 places from P11. Had to lift there to avoid going off track. Yeah, tough one to take, really. Tough one to sell as well. It's not quite an exciting video. So don't be surprised if there are a few cuts here and there. I think I'm going to do quite a bit of cutting, to be honest, because it's super boring. When I was in the race, obviously it wasn't boring. I was just trying to catch up with the guys ahead, but watching it back right now and just sitting and not having any action or not doing anything can be quite... I'm going to run wide there because I did not get back to the apex as quickly as possible. He runs slightly wide. Yeah, we really couldn't capitalize because we had to brake to let him back in. So yeah, our run exiting the corner of turn 1 was effectively compromised. Let's see if we can stay as close as possible to his gearbox. Let's see if that will fetch us something, if we spook him a little. Can we make it work on the inside? Running up to turn 1. He tries to block on the inside. He moves on the inside. He goes back out wide. We are staying on the inside. Staying this side draft. Yeah, too much braking there. We had to take evasive action. We almost clattered into the back of him right there. Yeah, but yeah, it was all that blocking. Yeah. Almost clattered into his gearbox there. Cautious. We don't want any penalty points, I'm telling you, none. We're just being cautious. He's defending with his life, but he has been clean so far. Clean. And we say clean, but we just try to ensure that we have no contact because it looks like a driver who wants contact. Another close call there. Another close call. Let's just sit on that gearbox and just see if we can spook him. Oh, another one. Very really turned into the apex there. We thought that the door was just slightly ajar and we wanted to just take that position as quickly as possible, but he turned in just at the last minute there. Just at the last minute. It's very unstable. Very unstable. But yeah, we need to stay close to him because the guys ahead are pulling away because we're behind this guy battling. You can see they are still bunched up together, but because we're battling this guy, we're losing so much time. We're losing so much time staying behind him. He goes wide, he comes back for it. It seems that that's the line that works for him. It seems that line works for him, so that's the natural line, it seems. Very odd, but it seems to be working for him. Good job staying within track limits. Whoa, gearbox. So, I mean, we figured out that he's also slow in that corner, but to be able to make the pass is now where it's difficult. So we need to just stay on his gearbox and then overtake him down this straight. You know, that's the only way it's going to work. But being a front engine car versus a mid engine car, he's going to obviously rotate out of the corners faster than we can. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Stay as close as possible. Is he going to back out? Yes, he backs out. He backs out. He backs out and we cautiously take the corner to avoid him doing something miraculous there. But yeah, that was like the only strategy that was going to work. And indeed it worked. It worked. If you're ever in a situation like that where it's difficult to overtake, you know, racecraft demands that you figure out the best approach. And usually there's always a straight. If there is nothing else, there is always a straight. So hook up on his gearbox, stay on his gearbox, stay in that slipstream, and when you get out on the straight, you can easily overtake him. Might be tricky to overtake in the corners, you know, with all the difficulty that he carries with it. Might be tricky to overtake him. But then just focus on overtaking everybody else. Just focus on, you know, focus on overtaking everywhere else. Develop the strategy, be patient, and then make your pass. Don't rush into it or get upset or get, you know, worked up and then take out the driver in front of you. There's no point. 132.8. We're already picking up pace just by overtaking that guy. He has kept us behind for so long. Now we're now hurrying to make it back to the other cars ahead. I believe we're up to P5 at this point. There are 2 cars ahead, so P3. Surely P3, we should be able to make P3. Autodromo Carlos Pace. It's a really nice track. It's a lovely track. A lovely winding track, but you know, what can you do? Overtaking is not one of his greatest strengths. Okay. Tire temps not looking great. They're not even as they ought to be. But iRacing doesn't allow you to make individual tire temp changes, so yeah, nothing you can really do about that. I remember the days of ACC, man. You had to get tire temperatures absolutely correct. It had to be within the right window, and they needed to be as close as possible to each other to guarantee that you could make the optimal lap time. Four cars ahead right now, or two of them are back markers, I believe.
Valeu.
One 32.63. Uptimes are improving. We need to catch up. We need to catch up. That McLaren behind is chasing. It's chasing like crazy, man. One car peels out into the pit lane for his pit stop. Just gonna carry on 132.5, another improvement on the lap time. McLaren is there in the background, just making himself a nuisance, to be honest. But that's what he's supposed to do. He's trying to ensure that he puts enough pressure on me for me to brake and then give him space to take the position. Trying to see if I will brake under pressure. Yeah, you're talking to the wrong driver, boy. A little bit of lost time there. We didn't go as wide as we wanted to. We lost some time there. I think this is going to be a slower lap. Low fuel alarm comes on. No need to start thinking about our pit stop. 5.3, I think we can still do one more lap. One more lap it is. 132.51. That's a 0.03 of a second improvement. Yeah, you can see how we're using all the curb there through turn 1, through the chicane at turn 1. You need to use all the curbs, man. If not, scrub speed and off track on that one. Off track on that one. That was a that was a silly mistake. We're cracking under pressure. Cracking under pressure, yeah. It's right on our tail. Too much curb, got pushed out wide. BMW goes slightly wide. Ford makes his way through. The BMW goes into the pit stop. We also follow suit into the pit stop. A little too slow there. Just a little too slow into that stop. Out of the pit stop, and we are right behind the Mercedes, who was one of the first cars to pull out for his pit stop. Not a good, not good, not good, not good, not good. Yeah, we wasted about a second right there. Yeah, 155.13. Yeah, a little slow on that pit stop. We should have been in 154 actually. And you can see the car ahead is about to exit the pit stop. I hope it's not the McLaren that was behind us. And it is the McLaren that was right behind us. McLaren that was behind us has been able to jump us in the pit stop. That speaks to the fact that we lost about a second. You know, I mentioned that we lost a second somewhere there in the S's. Well, that's obvious now that we lost a second because the McLaren has performed the overcut. I mean, these races are so cutthroat. They're so cutthroat, man. Just one slight mistake and you've lost position. Somebody has been able to, pull a move on you. Just one mistake. Just one mistake, man. Backmarker, really. The McLaren is really who we want to be getting here. Not even this guy. We're coming up on the closing laps of the race. Can we get this McLaren before the end? I don't think it's possible, to be honest. Because that's a pretty wide gap. And he basically has the same pace as us as well. He might just have run away with this one. Still low, one more lap to go. We have the white flag waving. 133.1. We're slowed down a whole lot. Slowed down a whole lot by the other car. Yeah, I think the Merc did not take enough fuel, so he was fuel saving. Was lifting and coasting, trying to make the last lap. Yeah, and there we have it, guys. That's the end of the race. P3 in the end. We tried to get that guy for P2, but it wasn't possible. Definitely did not foresee that that guy was going to be able to make the overcut. Well, it worked out for him in the end. Sometimes it works out for us, but we still ended up on the podium, so not a bad place to finish. So yeah, thank you for hanging with me on this one again. Let's take a look at the results, and then we'll come back for the closing. Okay, so the results, the classified results are here. This was Strength of field 1834. Split 5 after we dropped massive points. We dropped down into the B license because of shenanigans, driver shenanigans. This was a very chaotic week. And then also our rating dropped below 2000. And right now back to 1902, a double green, 0.82, and then also plus 82. So that's pretty good. Trying to make our way back into the A license. And the guy who finished in P2, Germain Limonier from the Netherlands, started in P25. Woo, that was huge. We started in P11. He started in P25. What was his pace? His pace was a 132 flat, and we did a 132.461. So yeah, close. Not for some errors we're making here and there. Really should have just kept the position, to be honest. But yeah, all taking a stride is part of learning. Biggest gainer was Jermaine. He gained 0.96. We gained 0.82. So biggest gainer I rating is Ciro Valentin in first place, plus 92. And the biggest loser I rating is the guy in last place, minus 97. Biggest loser in terms of 50 rating is, drum rolls, for the biggest loser, it's 0.72, minus 0.72, and that's Walter Hizencheki from Brazil. Wow, that's a funny name, but yeah, from Brazil. He had 12 incident points. Anyway, so yeah, congrats to all the winners. Try harder next time to all those who could not win. There we have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a bit of a short one. I didn't really want to take your time. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you on the very next one. I think I may be able to post another video this week. And if I am able to do that, you will see another video from the same track. So hopefully till then, take care and have fun. See you on the next one. Cheers.